Hmm. Going live. Let's see if this works. I think I'm live, but I don't know. We shall see. Something. Let's see. Copy. Video link. There we go. Streams link. I think this is live. Okay, good. So, going live. Bridge. Next. Bridge. Intro. As you can tell, I haven't got the hang of this live stream yet, but we're going live. Okay. So, sending out a tweet so people have an idea that I'm going live, because probably no one will know. Anyway, so the purpose of this live stream is I thought it would be easier and quicker than making a video, because two rather interesting things happened today, and I wanted to talk about that, right? So Meta support channel happened to have messaged me. Well, he messaged me earlier as I was just about to watch Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So I said, great, sounds good to me. And then I saw Ant-Man and the Wasp. It was a good. Oh wow, good. People are here. Thank you for showing up. Hello. Hello, Dallas, and hello, Ernie, and hello, Elsa, and your world. So, yeah, so it's good to see you. So anyway, so the reason for this live stream is that I was planning to make a video about some other stuff, things you might want to say to Congress, but we had an announcement from NextBridge Hydrocarbons, and the announcement was we did the spinoff, and everything went as supposed to go, right? I mean, so the announcement from NextBridge Hydrocarbons. Let me bring this up over here, and so I can have a look at it. So the announcement was basically they provided a statement regarding its spinoff, right? And basically they said that, hey, look, we spun the company off. If you had MMTLP shares, you would get NextBridge Hydrocarbons shares. And we delivered the shares, 165 million of them, to AST. That's a transfer agent. And by the way, the transfer agent delivered all the shares to the brokers. So the brokers have all the shares by now. So what does that mean? What that means is this is extraordinarily good news. On the one hand, it's stuff we all knew already. So everyone knew this. And but the reason that it's really good news is it's not a message to you or I or to various other shareholders who already know this, right? We know what's going on. The reason it's good news is it's a public statement, and it's intended to be aimed directly at Finra and Rosa Twill's lawsuit and Richard Hoffman's lawsuit and any other lawsuit that might be going on, right? What this means is that NextBridge Hydrocarbons has done its job. They've transferred the shares. If you don't have your shares right now, this means it's a broker problem. And if it's a broker problem, it's a broker problem that was caused, that looks to be caused by Finra. So Rosa Twill's lawsuit is now in excellent shape as a result of this. Good evening, by the way. Rosa Twill's lawsuit is in excellent shape because of this statement, right? Richard Hoffman's lawsuit is in excellent shape. We should be able to head towards discovery now because of this statement. The statement is really, really good news. It also means that it also delivers a message to broker-dealers, right? If you had a failure to deliver of shares and you don't have your shares settled or they're somewhere out in space somewhere, that failure to deliver now, it's been going on for 60 days. So time is running out. That failure to deliver could become fraud. If the failure to deliver becomes fraud, that means that you're in danger of losing your brokerage license. I don't think brokers want to lose their brokerage license. So I think as a result, I think this is good news. Basically, what happens is that it's a game of musical chairs. basically Finra's been saying it's not our fault. Go talk to your broker dealer. The broker dealer says, hey, it's not us, it's AST. Go talk to them. AST says, hey, we're waiting for the DTC. DTC's already given its thing, and AST says, hey, we've sent our shares to the broker, and nobody knows where everything was, right? But now with this one statement that's been released, we know where everything is. The music has stopped. The game of musical chairs is coming to a close, and what that means is that we need to, people have to have a chair. The ones who don't are going to be in trouble. Now the question is, are the broker dealers going to take one for the team? I don't think so. I don't think broker dealers are here to be a charity case for short hedge funds. I think they're basically going to tell short hedge funds, hey, cough up those next bridge hydrocarbon shares, and if you can't, we got to do something about it, because they're not going to take a hit for you. As a result, I think we're now in pretty good shape now. Okay, so if you didn't understand what this meant, this is my take on it. I'm not a financial advisor. It's not financial advice. This is information is intended for entertainment, educational purposes only. Just FYI. But I'm feeling good about this. I think it's a good thing. I expect to see some movement soon, and I think it's really good. Curiously enough, the same stuff happened immediately at the time of this weird D1 deletion that took place today. The deletion was supposed to have taken place a long time ago, and it didn't take place yet, right? But now suddenly it took place today. But not only did it take place today, it got backdated. So it got backdated all the way to December 13th. Geez, I mean, that's got to say wonderful things for Rosa's lawsuit. Can you say discovery? So anyway, I'm feeling very good about MMTLP right now. I'm feeling very good about next bridge hydrocarbons. People got to resolve this. Time is running out, and yeah. One thing I did want to mention. I listened to a live stream by Free Commercials, Andrew, the other day, and he had on his live stream on that day, he had what was it? He had Will Stewart there, right? So Will Stewart is a very large shareholder with TD Ameritrade. He has something like 17 million shares or so. And if you haven't listened to that live stream recording, check it out. I think there should be a link in my tweet or something. If not, I'll tweet it. Let me tweet it out right now. As a matter of fact, let's see. Did I tweet the? Let's see. It's. I remember Andrew sent me a DM, and I DM'd him back. So let's see. Drew Radio. Here it is. I'm going to retweet this. So how do I click on that? And it says, okay, Andrew's welcoming me to speak. No, I don't want to say that. Okay, so let me hear it. Let me do this. Copy, open link. And this should be the link to, and okay, I am now retweeting and liking Radio Drew's live stream with Will Stewart. So check that out. Let me just do it. This is a very cool interview with Will Stewart. Highly recommended. There you go. Anyway, so that's on Twitter. So check out that link. Anyway, the interesting thing is that Will Stewart happened to mention that a lot of people got calls from TD Ameritrade saying, "Hey, we got your shares if you want to directly register them," but Will didn't. And Will said he knows why he didn't. It's because he's got 17 million shares, and TD doesn't have 17 million shares to give to Will Stewart, even though he bought them. Right? He should have them. He should own them. So he knows that TD Ameritrade, does not have them. TD Ameritrade knows that he knows, right? So it all works out. But anyway, he's very confident. He's very relaxed. He's very laid back, and he asked a really important question. I thought if you haven't asked it, because it's been 2 months, one of the things that he asked is, which position would you rather be in? Would you rather be in our position where we're owed these shares, or would you rather be in the short hedge funds position or the broker dealer's position? We're in the best position of all, right? We are technically in the best position of all. We are owed these shares. They can't deliver the shares. We know they can't deliver the shares. They have to get the shares somehow. So it's what I've always been saying. They either got to buy the shares from NextBridge Hydrocarbons, in which case it's going to cost them a lot. They either got to come to us to somehow to ask for our shares, and that's going to cost them a lot, or they got to reopen up the market again, like Rosa Twill's lawsuit said, and that's going to cost them, right? So it's one of those things. Something's got to happen, right? And that's the way it works. And throughout all of this, NextBridge has been very cooperative in helping the situation, because they've said, hey, look, we've got 40 million shares available. If you're having trouble getting the shares out, you can come and buy them from us at some point in the future. It's available for us. It's available for you guys who really need the shares and you don't have them. It's available at a price, right? We don't know what that price is. It could be, I don't know, $100 a share, $1,000 a share, who knows, whatever. But it's available at a price, right? It's not unavailable, right? So there you go. There could be a cap to that price, right? Let's say it's $1,000 a share. If it's $1,000 a share, that's something like, I don't know, what is it? $4 billion. It's going to go to, $40 billion. It's going to go to NextBridge Hydrocarbons, right? And that $40 billion, they don't need $40 billion. They don't need $40 billion to drill for oil. They might need $1 billion or so, which means a lot of that money is going to come right back to us in the form of shareholders as another dividend. So that would be wonderful, right? So good things are happening. We're in good shape. So let me start reading some of these top chats here. Nice shirt, Tones. Yes, this is a nice shirt. Thank you. When balance the books? Don't know. Coming up soon, I hope. Love your channel. Thank you. Somebody's going to snitch on somebody. Yep. It pays for them to actually, blow the whistle, because they could make some moolah. So dominoes are falling. Yes. Hello from Phoenix, Arizona. Hello back. Tony, make you a moderator or crash the dollar. How do I do that? I do not know how. Let's see. Make you a moderator. Can I do that? Pin, remove, I don't know. Hide as manager. Add as managing. There we go. I'm going to add you, Mr. Jason Blackwell, who, wait, I just made someone a moderator. Crash the dollar. I've just added you as a moderator, Crash the dollar. So there you go. You are now moderating. And anyone else want to be a moderator? Let me know. I will add you. There you go. Because I don't do these live streams that much, whatever. Crispy chicken, I'm dying every day. Yes, everyone is waiting every day. But we are in the best possible shape right now. I firmly believe that. I'll take 1,000 a share. Yes, I will too. Let's see. Timothy Barker says, what would be the dumb reason to do a D1 code now, especially in the middle of the Rosa lawsuit? I think Rosa mentioned the reason. It's because they got caught in the fact that they did not do the deletion, which would mean that they would be they would be doing perjury or something like that, lying to the court. In which case that means that they stand to lose their entire case. So they quickly backpedaled. There you go. So let's see. Traveling session, travel music videos. If the short sellers didn't sell on the 8th because they knew about the halt, and retail didn't, wouldn't that be insider trading? It would. I'm of the firm belief that the whole 8th, 9th thing and the halt was the U3 halt was just a sheer panic move, because it was the stupidest thing in the world for them to do. It opened them up to lawsuits. It opened them up to a whole slew of things. It opens them up to, they should not have done that. Carla B, I turned 60 in April. Hey, happy birthday, Carla B. And would like to get paid by then. I would like to get paid by then too, so I can have a great time with my 2 daughters. I agree with you, Carla B. I wish you the best then. And April is, I would like to be paid by then too. Hopefully I'd like to be paid but much earlier than that. So that's what I'm thinking. Let's see. When do you think it will trade, if you had to make a guess? I can't tell. I think time is running out for these guys. I think that's why we're seeing these weird things happening with the CUSIP number today. And there you go. So I think that's why we saw the D1 issue today. And I think NextBridge making the announcement today was a wonderful thing, because they basically said, "Hey, look, we did we did everything that we're supposed to do. We sent the shares to AST. AST sent the shares to the brokers. We know AST sent the shares to the brokers. The brokers have them all now. You guys should all have your shares. Like, we should all have our shares." The next thing that might be really nice is, I don't know, maybe if NextBridge called a shareholder vote. Wouldn't that be interesting? So here's the other interesting thing, right? So it has been about 2 months now, and NextBridge Hydrocarbons had its shareholder survey, right? If you own shares, you could click on the links and enter in how many shares you owned. Well, so they know how bad the short position is, or at least NextBridge Hydrocarbons has a fundamental idea of how big the short position could be, right? But retail didn't know up until Russ Race did his survey. Thank you, Russ Race, for doing your survey. And now retail knows how bad the short position is, right? The situation is, I mean, I believe that they're somewhere in between, I don't know, 380 million to 500 million shares, somewhere around there, right? 400 to 500 million shares, basically, somewhere around there. Personally, I think it's closer to the 500 billion mark, but yeah, at minimum that, right? Which means they have a lot of shares to close out. So there's a lot to. Do I need another moderator? If you want to be a moderator, Q Entertainment, you are a moderator. I'm going to add you as a standard moderator. There you go. So hopefully we have moderators. Thank you, by the way, for moderating. I really appreciate that, because I have no idea how to do these live streams. I'm pretty new at them, but I thought it might be quicker than making a video. So I was going to make a video, but and I will still make a video. Don't worry, with what I was planning to make. But as long as you're here on the live stream, let me tell you what I was going to make the video on. Let's see. The main topics of my video were. Running up Keynote. Oh, the main topics of my video was going to be some questions for Finra. Basically, it was, if I was a congressperson and I wanted to ask Finra some questions about what happened, what kind of questions would I ask? And I came up with, so I thought about it, and I came up with about, I don't know, 14 questions, right? And it's from the perspective of a congressperson, right? A congressperson has a slightly different perspective than you or I have. Their perspective is they want to know if there's a problem. They want to know if there's a systemic problem, and if that systemic problem needs to be, and if there's a plan in the works for that problem to be fixed, right? So those are the main things that they want to know, right? For instance, the problems that a congressperson might think is, okay, is FINRA not doing what they're supposed to do, right? And is that a systemic problem? Have they got no oversight? Do they think they have no oversight, right? What does FINRA think about themselves and what kind of a job they're doing, right? If they think that they're doing a great job and everyone else thinks they're doing a lousy job, well, that's a different scenario. Maybe FINRA needs more oversight. Maybe FINRA needs some, maybe FINRA needs the SEC to step in there and be more hands-on, right? Exactly. And I'm sure the SEC may not want to be more hands-on, but if Congress tells them to be more hands-on, they would. So I'd volunteer, Born on the Bayou. I'd volunteer to moderate, though I wouldn't know what I'm doing either. Okay, thank you, Born on the Bayou. Roy E. says, I have Schwab and Robinhood. I received the email today from NextBridge, not from Schwab or Robinhood. Yes. Does that mean I hold NBH shares? If you received an email from NextBridge, it probably means you're on the mailing list. So if you're on the mailing list, that's good. Do you own NBH shares? I don't know. If you have NBH shares, yes, you have the NBH shares. So does a CUSIP, so Brett Montgomery says, does a CUSIP have to have a ticker assigned to it to trade? So here's the thing. The CUSIP is just, the CUSIPs are right now placeholder CUSIPs, as far as I know, right? Which means you can't trade them because they won't settle, they won't clear, nothing will happen with them. So they're placeholder CUSIPs. To get them to trade, they actually have to become active. You have to have a symbol assigned, and it has to trade, right, at that point. And everyone has to know what that symbol is. Everyone, it can't be a placeholder CUSIP and all that. But it also needs a couple things, right? We don't want it to trade indefinitely. We want it to become a private company. So we just want the trading there to be there to reconcile the short shares, right? Which means shorts have to be given a corporate action to close their shares. but to close their positions by such and such a date. So, and if they don't close by such and such a date, their position will be closed for them by the broker dealer, right? The broker dealer needs authorization to do that because they don't necessarily want to be sued by the short hedge fund for the broker dealer closing out their position, right? That's why the broker dealers were waiting for Finra, right? Finra, however, has not done anything for the broker dealers. They've been, they've basically said, hey, well, we're washing our hands clean of this, right? So Finra's really been lousy at doing whatever purported job they're supposed to be doing, right? Q Entertainment says Finra answers to the SEC. That is true. Finra does answer to the SEC. So the broker dealers have been lousy at doing their job, and whatever, and because they have a responsibility to all investors, right, including broker dealers, right, who are who are Finra members. Actually, they support Finra by paying dues to Finra. So the broker dealers who pay the bills to Finra are upset with Finra for not issuing the corporate action to close the short positions, because without Finra issuing the corporate action to close the short positions, the broker dealers, may suffer from a potential lawsuit from shorts saying, hey, you closed my position when you shouldn't have. There's no reason for you to close my short position. Well, there is a reason. The reason is the company's going private. But they wanted Finra to provide the reason so they wouldn't have to be the one providing the reason, right? That's part of the reason behind Finra. Finra didn't do that. So they failed in their fiduciary responsibility to their members, who are the broker dealers. And the broker dealer should be very, very pissed off about that. Anyway, I've got 14 questions to ask about Finra from the point of view of a congressman. That video will be coming up soon. The other things that I was going to talk about were the what was it? The D1 code, the retroactive stuff that happened, and the Will Stewart stuff. That was the most important thing, right? The Will Stewart interview I thought was really good, and I think that if you haven't heard it before, you'll be very pleased to hear it. Anyway, it's on Twitter. Real Logic, SOS. Is it true it will start trading in May? I don't know when it will start trading. It may start trading as soon as Rosa Twill's judge, whoever it is, says, hey, I wanted to trade because you guys messed up, Finra. You did not do what you're supposed to do. Mighty Mouse says MMTLP is deleted. Yes, they are. MMTLP is deleted, and it's perfectly fine. Let's see. Anything else? Intend to take that part out. T9. America. CHU. No, I don't. They don't know why Finra halted and intended on selling assets. I don't know why. I don't think Finra was trying to sell assets. Let's see. Steve Pachecki says $995.05 a share. There you go. Is it too late to register at AST? Seems like we're getting screwed. I don't believe it. I don't believe it's ever too late to register at AST. I think if your broker tells you it's too late, he's got a load of malarkey there. But you have to consider the pluses and minuses of registering with AST. If you register with AST, the shares are definitely your shares, and they are in the safest possible place because they're registered in your name at AST. Okay, that is the safest possible position to be in. However, you lose the option to trade those shares should they become tradable, because if they become tradable, if the judge rolls back time and those shares one day become MMTLP or something, if the shares become tradable in whatever way, having them at AST may or may not allow you the ability to trade those shares. So that's a possible downside. The other downside is once they're at AST, you for sure have shares. You don't have a debt instrument that's owed to you. And I don't know, part of me likes having that debt instrument owed to me, right? Basically, it means that the broker dealer owes me something. He's on the hook. Once he's got those shares out, he's not on the hook anymore, right? He's done. He's fine. But they've been trying to delay giving those. They've been trying to delay people from directly registering because they don't have as many shares as they need. So 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I personally like to keep, I mean, again, not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I personally like to keep the shares in my brokerage account, but I think it's fine, whatever you do. Let's see. TD sold me out. Kevin Fitzpatrick says TD sold me out when GNUs dropped from $9 spike and I had bought on margin and my bank didn't transfer properly. Why not do the same to shorts? Yes. If you get margin called, yes, you and I can get margin called easily. Shorts should be able to get margin called easily. And as a matter of fact, I think once a share price is provided for those 40 million shares by Nextbridge Hydrocarbons, that effectively puts a market value on the shares of Nextbridge Hydrocarbons, right? Because they're the only place you can buy shares from. And if the only place you can buy shares from is $500 a share, or even $100, or even $125 a share, right? That's what the share price of NBH is. That's the last traded price, and that would instantly basically mean that shorts would get margin called. So the other question comes up. It's been 60 days, right? So a lot of people have been worried initially about, gee, do the shorts have enough money? Do people have enough money to all this? After 60 days, they have had time to raise money. I don't know if they originally had enough money, but by now they should have enough time to raise money or credit or whatever they needed to pay off whatever debt they will need. So I am no longer worried at this point whether or not the shorts have enough money to pay off whatever amount of money is needed, because it's been 60 days. They've had a long time to get the money. If not, well, that's their problem at this point, right? So, yeah. Are we supposed to contact our broker dealers to transfer to AST, E-Trade, Fidelity, TD? You can if you want to. I'm not going to. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. I personally am not going to for my stuff. I'm perfectly happy. Hi, Tony. Hope we will get a 1-to-1 MMTLP NBH. We are guaranteed to get that. We have to, right? It's stated. If we don't get that, that means fraud on the part of the broker dealers who sold you the shares, which is not going to happen. They're going to make sure that you get your shares, because they are not going to be held accountable and liable for selling you shares that didn't exist. Those shares they sold you which didn't exist yet, they will have to be coughed up by the shorts. And if the shorts don't have them, they will have to buy them from somewhere, or they will have to get out of their debt obligation to you, one way or another, right? Is it smart to send to AST? Again, I'm not going to answer that. I've answered that already. I think it's. I think you can do what you will. I'm going to keep my stuff with the broker dealer for now. Is Nextbridge real? Of course they're real. They're a company, right? They're as real as any other company. Meaning, are they operating? Yes, the company has people working for them. They have directors. They have employees. They have contractors that are going out there drilling oil. They're surveying the land. In fact, they're spending money. They borrowed a bunch of money and they're spending money. So I think they're pretty much real. And in fact, last I heard, they found more oil than they originally expected. They found, what was it? Unexpected pay zones, right? So that means is potentially more than $3.2 billion, potentially more than 3.2 billion barrels worth of oil and natural gas there. Didn't Nextbridge just say it wasn't going to become tradable? Nextbridge is not tradable. Nextbridge is not planning to be tradable. If anyone buys Nextbridge shares from Nextbridge Hydrocarbons, that would be buying of private company shares, and that would be done as a private company sale. And so it will not become publicly tradable. But if you are an accredited investor, meaning you have over $2 million, and you can prove it, then you can become an accredited investor. You can go to Roth Capital and say, I'm an accredited investor. I would like to buy Nextbridge Hydrocarbon shares. Can you tell me how much they cost and how much, and and when I can buy them? And Roth Capital will tell you, I will get back to you, because we don't have a price on the shares yet, and we don't know when they will be tradable. So at least that's what I heard that Roth Capital has recently said, right? $100 billion problem for the shorts, at least, possibly more. So there you go. Jason Blackwell. Fun fact: Fidelity and Chase have their own in-house clearing clearing organizations, and they don't need the DTCC for all trades. That is a good thing. If you're big enough, you can self-clear because you're big enough. Why? Why we have to pay money to transfer our shares to AST? You don't. The S1 says you don't have to. If anyone says you have to, just point them to the S1 and tell them, hey, the S1 says I don't have to. Where are these fees coming from? 20% of my NBH shares are in Roth IRA, and AST won't take those. Yes, if you are in a Roth IRA, moving your shares out of a Roth IRA or moving your shares out of any IRA in the US is very difficult, and I do not believe you will be able to directly register your shares if they are in a retirement account. Best and worst case scenario from here after Finra deleted MMTLP. Best and worst case. Best case is, well, it all depends on your perspective as to which of the multiple outcomes you want, whether we get our days of trading back, in which case the price skyrockets and you're able to sell. In other cases, it's, brokers going to, it's market makers or whoever was short going to NextBridge Hydrocarbons and buying the shares directly from them for large amounts of money, and then NextBridge Hydrocarbons providing the all that money back to shareholders as a dividend, or whether or not people will come to you directly and ask you for your shares on a possible gray market, right? So I think the gray market option is still open. Who knows? Maybe not. It's hard to say. But all three scenarios are still up in the air as far as I'm concerned. Kevin Fitzpatrick says, now GNUs themselves are taking 4,500 shares from me in either 10-to-1 reverse split. Oh, so certain companies are doing a reverse split. I'm not paying attention to GNUs yet. If they are an equal amount of naked shares, will they be replaced with counterfeit shares? Reverse splits depends upon how they're being done, but if there is a reverse split, then it should be everything will be 1/10, right? If it's a 10-to-1 reverse split, whatever you have, your 4,500 shares would become 450 shares, and then that means, if you had 10,000 shares, they would become 1,000 shares, right? In a 10-to-1 reverse split. If there were 10,000 shorts available, the 10,000 shorts would become 1,000 shorts. Everything just divides. Steve Peche. QN, probably closer to $200 billion problem. Yep, I agree. Probably close. It's 100 billion plus, I think. So why has George been so quiet? Your thoughts? Minnesota Supersport. Because it's now moved from George over to Clifton DeBose, right? So George is no longer doing anything with MMTLP. He can't really talk about it. His lawyers will tell him he cannot because he's not associated with that anymore. It's now Clifton DeBose or Dubois. Yeah. Just got the NextBridge email. NextBridge Hydrocarbons Inc. provides statement regarding its spinoff. Great. Everyone should be getting their email. Why is, I don't know, moving down. Let's see. Wave. We've got earnings coming up, I think. Yes. Might be a blackout period in Minnesota. NextBridge will not be having earnings because they are not they're not making money. So, but they will be talking about their quarterly statement. So we'll see that. Thank you, Tony, for all the. Thank you, Tony, for all the. Thank you. Think you're doing MMTL. Thank you for all you're doing for the MMTLP community. Oh, I don't know what to say. You're welcome, and it's something that I am doing because someone's got to do it. Yeah, I will keep doing this. I have shares myself, and I figure I might as well share the knowledge that I have about whatever I'm thinking with everybody else, because why not? There's no reason for people with less knowledge to be panicking or having issues and all that. We're actually, I believe we're actually in pretty good shape. So, and if people are telling me people are panicking, I feel bad for them, and I don't think that would be right. So, yeah, that's why I do stuff. NS, do you think that we will receive a cash settlement from a class action lawsuit, or will NBH shares be converted into a stock swap situation like Exxon or ConocoPhillips? If someone buys us, it's definitely going to be a stock swap. And that'll be very interesting if it is a stock swap, right? Because let's just pretend that Exxon will buy Nextbridge Hydrocarbons, right? And they do a 1-for-1 share of Exxon, right? Now, your Nextbridge Hydrocarbon share will become converted into an Exxon share. But that's not it. It's not the end of the story, is what I'm trying to say. That Exxon share there's a ton of naked shorts out there for Nextbridge Hydrocarbons. They need to provide the Exxon share as payment in lieu, which means they need to go out and buy a ton of Exxon shares, which means the price of Exxon is going to go up on their buying pressure. So thank you, shorts, for having to buy whatever whatever company wants to buy Nextbridge Hydrocarbons, because that's just the way things are. CBT trainee, we love you, bro. Okay, thank you very much. Be patient. Waco, they tried. Yes, we all remember Waco. My goodness. I mean to say, if naked shorts are okay. Kevin Fitzpatrick, I mean to say, if naked shorts are in okay, then taking away my are in okay. If the naked shorts are okay with them taking away my shares is pointless and feels like more fraud. Yeah, the whole situation is that's why I've been trying to say that I've changed my language in how I'm approaching Finra, right? I'm saying, hey, look, you created, I'm purposely simplifying the message to Finra. By doing the U3 halt, you created fraudulent counterfeit shares, right? And the reason I say that is it's a bold statement, but not only that, it's a true statement, because it was their preventing shorts from ever closing their positions, which turned the short shares into fraudulent counterfeit shares. They may have been potentially shares to be delivered in the future, but now they can't be, right? So that means Finra created the fraudulent counterfeit shares. So that's why I changed my language. Waco 451. Waco 451. John and George both inquired about MMTLP trading back in 2021. More recently, George in 2023. True. Very true. Thank you, QNtainment and Crash the Dollar for being moderators. I really appreciate that. So yes, I completely appreciate it. Tina, Robinhood sent an email back on December 12th that our shares are being held on Robinhood's behalf by AST. Do you think this may be a good sign my shares are real and not synthetic? I think Robinhood. I think Robinhood does not want to be screwed over again like they were with GameStop. So Robinhood themselves were screwed over by Citadel with GameStop, right? So they don't want that to happen again. And everyone hates Robinhood because they're like, hey, they did payment for order flow and all that. And so my take on payment for order flow, in case you don't know, is I view payment for order flow as a kickback for letting other people like Citadel give you a poor price on your shares. So that's the way that works. It's like it's like your broker is not front running you. Your broker is allowing Citadel or whoever the payment for order flow people are to front run you and get a kickback on the front running, right? So that's the way I look at it. But then Robinhood got screwed over by the front runner themselves, because the front runner got overrun, because Citadel can only front run so much, but because they expect Brownian motion in their shares, but when it takes a directional movement, it's when it starts going up and there's nothing they can do to stop it. Then they need Robinhood to stop giving them buy orders. And that's what happened. And so Robinhood took the heat. It all came from Citadel, but Robinhood was definitely complicit. So there you go. William, born on the bayou, you are the man. Thank you. Tony, your videos are incredibly informative and insightful. They really help break down complex situations and make them easily comprehensible. You're a tremendous asset to the cause. In a word, thanks. Thank you, William Wallace. I live in Silicon Valley. Everyone here has to do a TLDR or an elevator pitch. And that's just the way the world works here. No one wants to hear a great, long-winded, detailed oriented story. Everyone wants to know the gist. of what everything is. And so we have to try to whittle down our message in the simplest form possible. Back in the old days, they used to be called executive summaries. And the executive summary has to be concise and has to tell the story in no uncertain terms. Because you want your top executive to fully understand. He's not going to understand everything about everything in the universe, but he's got to know enough information that he can make decisions based upon the wide breadth of information that he gets from all over the company, right? And all his information sources. So that's why I try to communicate in a way that is concise and as clear as possible. So I've been trying to do that for the last 10 years. Hopefully it becomes clearer over time. Why would Finra not doctor certifiable? Why would Finra not have not deleted MMTLP initially, or was it just an oversight that they needed it pointed out to them, do you think? I don't think it was an oversight. I think they knew that they didn't delete it. I think they wanted to keep it as a backstop just in case they needed to turn back the clock. I think they were afraid and they didn't want to do anything. Again, I think the U3 halt was a panic move. Someone pushed the panic button, and not deleting the symbol allowed for a potential rolling back of the clock to be much easier, right? It made life easier for them, and it was I think it was a safety mechanism, and they've removed their safety mechanism right now. So we'll see what's going on. Eric, even shorts that were legally borrowed are stuck because of Finra's halt. So all shorts need trading days to close out their positions. That is completely true. So if you are a short and you have borrowed your shares, you still need to close your short position. If you are a naked short and you don't have any shares, you still need to close your short position. Both shorts need to close their short position no matter what. Yeah. So, the only thing is that the people who borrowed the shares, they're in slightly worse position than the naked shorts, because the people who borrowed the shares, they've been paying borrow fees. So I don't know what kind of fees naked shorts pay, right? They pay failure to deliver fees, which I think are pennies on the dollar. Who knows? Anyway, let's see. Fee rhymes with AMC. I wonder why Webull isn't using Apex clearing. I don't know. They may or may not be. Rumor has it that everyone was going to start using Apex clearing. Is the next event to expect more info about Roth's 40 million share purchase? I'm really curious about Roth's 40 million share purchase. And so Roth isn't actually purchasing shares. Roth is the underwriter, right? So Roth is going to get a cut of the 40 million shares that are going to be sold. And I think the 40 million shares are there as it's there for multiple reasons, but it will raise some capital. But it also shows that Nexpert Hydrocarbons is not being unreasonable, right? They are providing shares in the event that shares are needed. So Nexpert Hydrocarbons is being extremely reasonable to the short sellers, right? They're doing a fabulous job. They're being very reasonable. Let's see. Does the halt change long-term capital gains? No, the halt does not change long-term capital gains. If you purchased your shares a long time ago, and the shares haven't traded because they've been halted, and time has passed, and now your shares, which were short-term, have now become long-term. Well, they're long-term. There you go. So are shorts paying interest as we speak? I believe that the shorts who borrowed shares are likely paying borrow fees. They're not paying interest. But in either case, I think they're paying something. I think the shorts who are naked shorts, the market makers, I don't know if they're paying anything. They might be paying failure to deliver fees or FTD fees. So we'll see. Hey, Tony, glad to see you. Hey, Steve Martinez, glad to see you too. Everyone hit that like button and subscribe with notifications. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Sounds good. Thank you, Crash the Dollar. Yeah, I just started up the stream, and hopefully people will find the stream as need be. Anyway, so great video. My theory is we trade next week. Oh, yeah, we will be trading soon, I believe. It is 8:55 now. I didn't intend for the live stream to go on very long, so I'll be shutting down the live stream around 9 o'clock or so. So, thank you for tuning in. Said everything I wanted to say, and I got to talk with you. So thank you, and thank you to Crash the Dollar, and to the other person, to Q Entertainment, for moderating. So thank you, Crash the Dollar, and thank you, Q Entertainment, for moderating. I really appreciate that. You've helped me, and you've helped everyone else out. So there you go. I'm going to end the stream in about 4 minutes. So if you have any other questions to bring up, please do. Trading resumes. Will this be the domino that starts? Oh, it could very well be. I don't want to talk about that very much, because if we talk about the domino that starts other meme stocks from taking off, that might give certain regulators an idea that they have to stop things immediately, even though it's may be illegal or something like that, because they don't want the end of the world to happen. Who knows? That's not a conversation I want to get to, but it could. There's no reason it couldn't, right? But I think that let's put it this way: Nextbridge Hydrocarbons is a very, very small wildcatting company, right? And the U.S. economy, the U.S. stock market is a $30 trillion stock market. Do we really think that Nextbridge Hydrocarbons could have an effect on a $30 trillion stock market? And if so, shouldn't our shares be worth a hell of a lot more? There you go. Never knew you went live. Good. I didn't know that either. I go live very rarely, but I think this is a quick way to get the word out. And there we go. Minnesota Supersport, did something like this happen with the Dole stock? That's a good question for Roller Pigeons. She's very familiar with Dole, I believe. The D1 was so we can start trading. I believe the D1 was a CYA against Rosa's lawsuit. And I'm just the fact that they did something, and it after 60 days means they understand the situation and things are happening, right? Do you think that by they I mean Finra and the SEC and the people, and of course broker dealers, right? So everyone there knows the situation, and not only do they know the situation, they know that we know that they know the situation. Okay. More lives to come. Yes, I believe so. I will most likely be doing more live streams because it's probably quicker than doing a recorded show. NB does not want to sell shorts or NB does not want to sell to the shorts or brokers. They won't even say how many shares they want them to buy. NB does not want to sell to shorts, but there's a price for everyone, right? I'm sure if they were able to sell to the shorts for $1,000 a share, 40 million shares, that would be fine. Raising $40 billion to sell 40 million shares to shorts, I'm sure Nextbridge would be very, very happy with that. Not a problem. What about O-Stock? Took about a year to squeeze. O-Stock took about a year because of various issues. This thing should have squeezed already, but the U3 halt stopped it. But that doesn't mean the game is over yet, and they still need to deliver private company shares. Okay. It is now 8:59. We're going to have one last question that I'll have a look at. DGAZF went to 20K plus. MMTLP to the moon. Rocket ships to the moon. Yeah, I agree. I agree, CBT training. I agree. So there you go. With that, I'm going to end this live stream. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Much appreciated. Goodbye. Let me see if I can figure out how to end the live stream. And there we go. Bye.